But they fixed a lot of.
Is that big enough for you to see?
So, yeah.
All right.
Not like,
So you're doing find. So the find has 4 sections to it, right? Find. Where are you looking for it? So where are you looking for it?
Yeah, I didn't.
That's specify. Because then you're just looking at your current directory. And if you're in your home, yeah, you have no character blocks in your home directory. You have no block devices in your home directory. You might have some links. So I usually do the / just so we get root, get the whole system. Right now, I forgot I have to be root. So find where you want it. If you don't put anything there, it's your current place, right? And then how did you search for it? Type. Yep. So you want type. And what should we do? Block? We'll do block. I mean, you should have more than enough devices pop up.
Yeah, did you only ask for 3?
Yeah. And there should, okay, it's still looking. So that's for block. And then character devices, you should actually get tons.
So all I did is forget to designate where to search.
Yep. You're just looking in your current directory. So, anything else? Jeremy, you have questions?
Sticky bit.
Sticky bits.
Oh.
Sticky bits. Okay. So, what sticky bit does is allow only the owner to be able to delete a file. Because you have 3 permissions there, right? You have read, write, and execute, right? So if someone doesn't have even write access to something, they can still delete it. Write just means that they can't modify the file or change it. But they can go in and remove it and delete it, right? So one of the reasons that I'm teaching about sticky bit is you can go in and make sure that file cannot get deleted unless it's you. So if you're the owner of that file, only the owner can end up deleting it.
Or by root, right?
Or root. Yeah, administrator can always do anything. Yep. So that's the point of it. And so here, let me open this up. So I just use it. There's a few different ways. And the book tells you a little bit of different ways to do it, like the O dash. I use the numbers. Yeah, the octa value. So with the chmod command. So if I have a file, let's see, do I have a file here? I have this temp1 file, right? Okay. I have that temp1 file. And let's look at the permissions on that temp1 file. So what's the permissions that are allowed there? Just looking at that.
Read, write.
Yeah, so who can read, write?
Well, everybody.
User group and your group.
Me and my group.
First one's a user, the second one's a group.
User, group, everybody else. So everybody else can only read it, right? So if I want to change this, I can do group minus write.
It'll take out the W, so it'll just be the user. You read write, the group just read.
So now when you see that, you see the W's gone there, right?
Right.
So if there was someone else, I mean, I know it says Jared. Let's pretend that's another group or something like that. If someone was in the Jared group, they would still be able to delete that file.
And once you're done with that, you'll just restart it. And you can also use, which we will do once this is actually right.
You can. Yeah. But so what I would want to do is when I use the sticky bit is I want to add that a special permission on there so that only I can delete it.
Right.
Because no matter what I do to these permissions here, someone can still delete it.
But this is the
Right.
antivirus that we were
What's dash at the end? Dot one.
That's how many files.
Oh, okay.
Are
All
there.
right.
So I'm looking at one
Yeah,
file.
I'm looking at dot
If it-
one, Jared.
If it was a folder, if it was a folder, it may say how many files are in the folder. or something like that.
How was the hard drive? I believe
So the way I use it, the octagonal, is
430 gigs. something like that.
I use it's usually you only use 3 digits
But
to do it octagonal. So the R represents a 4, the W is a 2, and then if there's an X there, that would be a 1. So that's how you change numbers, right? So let's say I wanted me to have full access to it. I want to be able to write, to read, to write, and to execute it. So when you add those numbers up, an R is 4, plus 2, what's that? 6, and then an X, it would be 7. So I'm going to put a 7 right there. And that's for this first block, these 3 right there. Okay? That's the first read write.
Which comes off the binary. That's where it's based on, right? Binary.
It's not binary.
Okay. So
First 3 digits of a binary, isn't it 1, 2, 4?
and if you'd like,
Yeah,
well,
you're right.
It's not based off binary.
Okay, all right.
But the thing is if it was binary, this is we start counting from the right,
No,
so it'd
but
be
if
1,
there's
2,
character
3,
in
4,
the-
5, 6,
You're
7,
talking
8.
about decimal places. First one, if you put an X in there, that's a 1. If you put an R, W in there, that's a 2. And if you put the R in there, that's the 4. That's
Yep.
It's in the placeholder of the binary.
Suppose.
Right.
That's one way to look at it.
So if you just had the R and X, that'd be 5.
And luckily,
Because it's 4
Right.
and 1, which is
Right.
1, 0, 1. Or 1,
Exactly.
0, 1.
All right.
It would be X. So it's right. So if I want to do 5, I'd do 5, and then you would expect this to change to RX for the second part, right? Because I'm doing the second number 5. So with the 5, R is 4, and X will be 1. So that's 5, right? So I'm putting a 5 for the second area. And then to finalize it, let's do 5 again. That's a really common thing to do. And then I just name the file. So when I look up here, it changed exactly to that, right? So I have all of that there. It only has read and execute now for the second block.
But it changed it. Or
And read block.
where did you get the other character at?
Which one?
He was hiding it.
You got RWXR.
That's because I did a 7 for the first block.
Hold up.
But no, but the R.
Hold up. Everything. That R is the first character in the second block.
So this right here represents a 7.
Okay.
This one here represents a 5. That one represents the second 5.
Okay.
Right? This represents the owner or the user, the group, everybody else. Okay?
You didn't add the sticky bit yet, have you?
No, I have not added sticky bit. So I wanted to show you the octagonal. So it's the octagonal value is what it is. So if I want to add the sticky bit to it, you can either put it on or turn it off. Okay? So turning it off is a 0. Turning it on is a 1. And you add that at the beginning of that 755. So if I wanted to do this, I'm just adding a 1 to that, and that'll turn on the sticky bit. How can you tell if it is? It now has a T at the end of it, showing that there's the sticky bit permissions is put on there.
So you put it at the beginning, but then it puts it the T at the end?
Well, and that's just the way it identifies as the sticky bit. So, but then that shows you that it's on. And then if you want to take it off, all you do is you take away that 1 and you put a 0 there.
That's your quick.
1 turns it off.
On this one, your first character was, your 7 is RWX. R minus X is your 5. R minus X is your other 5. So RWX is the 7. R minus X is the 5. Then you have R minus. Why isn't there another minus than T? Why isn't there 2 minuses in there?
Because you run out of space. You're limited to space. But there's ways to look at that when we get to ACLs, which we're actually going to do in the Linux administration class. But we're not going to do in this class. So then if I want to turn off the sticky bit, I turned it off, and you can see that it's off because there's no T there anymore.
Yeah, the X comes back. So how do I know that when you put the T in there, how do you know if the others are executable? Because that X goes away. How do you know that? You just assume, or?
No, you don't have to assume.
There's a way to do it. Okay. It's in the next semester. All right.
I need to. What do I do? I don't want to describe. Oh, I don't want to set.
Oh, I see what you did. You set the sticky bit to 0 right there. Okay.
There we go. That's the command that you would know what it is, even though it has the sticky bit on it.
Okay.
So if I wanted to, let me put the sticky bit back on. Yeah, you have the T there as a flag, and you have it there.
Yeah, see, there's the minus T.
So there's a way to see it.
And then turn it off. You have to put the 0755, right?
Yeah.
Actually, you have to put a 0 in there. Okay.
Just back to the L. Now it's off.
Yeah.
So that's sticky bit.
Can you give a general thing on passwords? Like, how do I say if I go up to say, Bernard, I need my password changed?
Yeah. Yeah.
Could you? I haven't done the homework yet. I'm just
Yeah.
asking, you know.
Yeah. Let me create a user that I can play with. Okay.
I remember the chapter said it was in the shadow file, right?
So that proxy server is actually.
User
So Bob's out there.
You said it's not a password file, but it was in the shadow file where the password stored.
That's where it's stored, and it's encrypted in there. So it's not like you can go just.
Okay.
Yeah. Like that. So I have Bob in there, right? So if I'm the administrator, Bob calls me, I forgot my password,
Okay.
right? I don't know what it is.
Right.
I'm the administrator. I go, all right, Bob, again, you lost your password, right? So do password, PASSWD.
Right.
Then you do his name.
Right.
And then right there, it asks for me to reset because I don't know what his password is. It's encrypted.
Oh.
So I'm resetting it to a new one. That's why they don't just go, well, Bob, your password is this. No, they don't know it either, but they can reset it. So I'm going to set him up the password 123. And so now I changed Bob. And the way you can test it is you can switch user to Bob. I can log in as Bob.
SU is sudo, right? Or SU is switch user?
Switch user.
I thought that was sudo or super user.
No. Well, you can use it to turn into super user if you want, but you can also use it to switch it to a normal user. So I'm just switching to Bob. His password is PASSWORD123. Now I'm Bob. I'm not Jared anymore. I'm Bob. So if I type in, who am I? I'm now logged in as Bob. I'm Bob now. I just logged in as him.
Right.